Well, we're finally doing it. Welcome to the Incomplete series, the incomplete guide to every series you've never watched. I'm here with my two friends, Scott and Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good, Morgan.
And Scott, how are you?
I'm terrible.
Oh, is it because you just watched JAG?
It's not because I just watched JAG.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. Let's first of all talk about this show that we're just starting up here, this podcast. For the people listening at home, this came from a long, arduous time of drinking at the Empress in North Fitzroy.
Name drop.
Well, you know, it's a good pub.
Scott, can we edit that out?
Yeah.
We cut his mic.
Cut him down, shut him down.
So, Scott, do you want to explain to the listeners what this show actually is about, the Incomplete series?
Okay, so basically we're taking shows that we wouldn't watch otherwise, or that your average person maybe wouldn't watch otherwise, and instead of obviously going through and watching, 6 or 7 seasons of a show...
Who's got the time?
We're just going to watch the first episode and the last episode, and then just have a crack at what happened in between.
Jeremy, how did we land on JAG as our first
It was just
project?
We were throwing a lot of names around. JAG just seemed right because no one's seen JAG.
No, I mean, we all know it existed.
There's going to be a lot of people listening to this podcast who will, like us, have no prior knowledge of what JAG was about, and we're going to open their eyes a bit.
Exactly. So what we're doing is watching the first episode and the last episode of a series, and we're just filling in the gaps.
I do hope that one of us is frighteningly close.
I would hope so.
Very
I would
close.
Really, really hope so. Now, Jez, what was your prior knowledge of JAG? What did you know about JAG going in, and how did you feel about going to watch it again, or watch it for the first time, rather?
So JAG premiered in 95.
Correct.
I was 6 years old.
You watch TV. We all watch
I would have
TV.
been... So it ended, 2005 when I was 16?
Sounds about right.
I don't think anyone between the age of 6 and 16 has any interest in a show about Air Force lawyers.
A procedural court drama about, they're naval lawyers, I should just say, Jez.
Naval lawyers? Sorry,
Naval
my
lawyers,
mistake.
yeah.
They just happen to fly planes.
Okay, well, it's confusing.
It is confusing. Yeah,
A lot of Top Gun vibe from the first episode.
Lot
of getting dicks hard over America shots of like
time.
planes taking off and epic music. Did we see like a slow motion billowing American flag?
I don't think so,
What
but
happens?
I feel like
It
that's
would have
that's-
been in there.
It's in the credits, though, but that's not until that's in the last episode we watched.
A later episode, the latest episode.
The very last episode of JAG
If you've seen the most recent episode of JAG,
in 2005. I mean, Scott, what were your opening thoughts going into this project?
into the show, I knew there were planes involved. I knew there were pilots. I knew there was a fop who was like the lead actor.
Yeah.
Who was basically just there to look excellent and make all the ladies swoon.
I know, and I've got some things to talk about with Harmon Rab when we
You
get
got some
into
bones
it.
to pick?
I got some bones to pick.
Harmon Rab.
Yeah, Harmon Rab.
Lead character.
Yeah.
Dave James Elliott.
So, first episode of JAG. Where are we at? What's happening?
So the first episode of JAG, a female pilot is murdered aboard an aircraft carrier engaged in active combat. To investigate this, there's 2 officers are sent, 2 from the JAG office, a young upstart and Harmon Rab, our good friend David James Elliott, and what is supposed to be the very easy on the eye Caitlin Pike. And what we get over that first 90 minutes is a pretty chauvinistic ride, and well, David James Elliott just leads the way big time in that.
When they go to the aircraft carrier, they don't know there was a murder. We'll say that first of all.
It's a
They're
disappearance.
investigating.
Yeah.
It looks like an accident.
Yeah.
Over the course of what is 90 minutes, a 2-part episode, we work out how she met her demise.
Yeah. She's murdered by Matthew Glave, the evil guy from The Wedding Singer, who
Of course.
well, and he murders her by mistake as well. We should point out he wants to kill the roommate of the girl who's murdered and objectified by all the sailors. And this one is the tough one who is just buff as shit, like just absolutely
Just
huge.
dominating them all.
She's and got a pretty intense mullet to match those muscles.
As far as other main characters go,
Yeah, so
we've also got the CAG.
The CAG, and the CAG is played by our good friend Terry O'Quinn. I got to stop calling these people our good friend. We've never met them. We don't know who they are.
Could have met Terry O'Quinn.
He's entered our life at multiple points as various characters.
Exactly. People would most know him best as John Locke from Lost.
So he served in Vietnam. I think it's established pretty early on with
With Harmon Rab. Yeah.
Harmon's dad.
Yeah.
And so he's been in the military a long time.
Yeah.
He's seen fads come and go. And to him, women in the military, another fad. He wants to stamp it out. He's not a fan of it.
Not a fan.
They don't have the backbone for it, you know. It's a man's job.
It's a man's job. And
They're just going to weigh them down.
Spilling down from that, Harmon is the exact. The thing is with that, they kind of point out the CAG as a villain and Matthew Glave, the killer, as a villain because of their chauvinism is the real enemy. Yeah. But it just doesn't. It just contradicts itself because Harmon's
not far off.
Harmon's so bad.
He's like, if they're at 10, he's a 9.5.
He's a 9.5. I mean, the only thing is that the difference with Harmon is that he's the main character, so he's painted in a better light. They play more clarinet for him and more piano accordion for the other guys.
I think that's how you know.
Exactly, because it's all about the score.
His sexism's portrayed slightly differently. He's not dismissive of the women. He likes the women around purely so that he can hit on them.
Oh, purely. That scene is every conversation is an opportunity to hit
positive sexism rather than negative sexism.
Yeah.
Like he likes women to the point where he wants to sleep with all of them. But that's not a bad thing in the 90s. That was a good thing.
It's weird that the time frame that they're on that ship, that Harmon, Rab and Pike arrive.
It's like quasi-feminism.
Yeah,
in the 90s.
He starts hitting on Pike pretty much immediately.
Straight away.
Like from day dot. It's weird, actually. That's another thing I'd like to talk about. How did Bud get from? Bud obviously being one of the main characters later in the seasons, but he goes from an ensign or just a general sailor on this boat to then being in the part of the whole JAG team.
Yeah, we've got to plot his trajectory too.
That's a good idea.
We've got a while to go till we get to that point.
And we will get to that. Look, let's not get too hung up on this first episode. Let's jump into the next one because we got a lot of gaps to fill in here. Well, there is 10 years of content.
The next episode is, of course, episode 227.
Yeah, so we've gone from 2 to 227, and let's just say, holy shit, a lot changed.
A lot has changed.
A lot changed. I mean, we're introduced to a character in a completely different role. So in the first one,
Harmon's fairly different. I almost thought it was a different actor. He changes a lot.
Oh, big time.
In the 10 years.
Yeah, completely different person.
Bud goes grey so hard.
Well, yeah, but it's 10 years. Bud, we didn't...
But what is he? What is he, like early 40s?
Bud.
So the man looks like Steve Martin.
Bud obviously being, from the first episode, Bud just being just a regular sailor aircraft carrier. And then he's gone from somewhere from that episode into 227, he's become like Harmon's like... Right-hand man. Right-hand man.
Harmon is the JAG by this point.
Harmon is the JAG, yeah. I didn't realise JAG was something you could do. I thought it was an organisation.
I think he grabbed onto his coattails and just rode Harm to the top.
Big time. I mean, it was all right from the very get-go when Bud pointed out, when Bud in the first episode walked us through military jargon. Just stay on my 6. My 6 being my rear. Sorry, we all use pilot jargon.
Just say,
just a lot
follow
of
me.
Jargon. Yeah, follow me. It's fine. Or just say, use my 6. People are going to know what it is.
But why say that?
Because Bud's a huge wiener.
Like, I'm sure if you're an aircraft carrier and you're in the military, you're allowed to use like regular people speak as well, right?
It's all pilot
just jargon?
Absolutely not.
As soon as you step on that ship, you can't say normal
He apologized.
turns of phrase.
He apologized for the jargon because it's like, well, I didn't understand the jargon.
So
explain to me, Bud.
What he wanted to tell them
explain to me the jargon, Bud.
What he wanted to tell them was follow me, and it ends up taking 2 or 3 sentences because he's got to explain himself. Just say follow me, Bud. You don't need to. Come on, we know you're on an aircraft carrier.
Jeremy, you want to give us a quick rundown of episode 227, season 10 of JAG, please?
So a lot's changed.
A lot has changed.
We're not on an aircraft carrier. We are in some sort of, I guess, military head office, the JAG head office. I don't know, is JAG the branch or is he the JAG? No one knows.
It's neither here nor there, yeah.
First of all, the female lead changes.
Yeah. So
and then there's like
Catherine,
a junior...
Bell.
Catherine Bell, who is, what's her name? Mac?
Mac, yeah.
So Colonel Mac, main characters, you probably know them.
They're on the covers, yeah.
But there's like a junior version of them.
Yeah, there is.
And some guy some young version of Harm seems to be doing all the grunt work. And he goes out and does the lawyering, and Mac doesn't like him. Basically, they're tying up their loose ends. So they've got to end the show. The way they do that is sending Harm to London. He's got a promotion. He's going to be the JAG of London.
He's going to be the JAG.
Yep. Mac is going to be the JAG of San Diego.
Some kind of JAG. I think she's in the Marine Corps, I think.
Okay. Oh, that's why she wears a different uniform.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're splitting up. There's a lot of sexual tension there. So I guess that's the big finale. It's like a breakup, but it's not a breakup. But while this is all going on, we're tying up loose ends. The mini version of Mac and Harm are investigating some... I don't know. There's just some stupid narrative that doesn't need to be there about some kid who's
just a B plot line that doesn't need to happen.
The B plot line to waste time because if I've invested 10 years into JAG, I want to know what happens to my 2 main characters. I don't want to see what like some 16-year-old kid who snuck into the military is doing. Anyway, the show ends with Matt goes to Harm's apartment, and they try and work out the sexual tension. So. They're a bit
with more sexual tension.
Will they, won't they? Yeah. And basically they end it by saying, will they, won't they? He proposes to her, but then they sort of both say no because they can't make it work. And they're career people. Yep. They don't want to give up their career, you know? The JAGs.
The Jags. The Jags.
The
Jags.
Jags first and people second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is probably the show summarized in the best possible way.
And then they go
first
to
and
some
people second.
stupid bar that has way too much lighting. Like, it's bright as shit in there.
It's bright as shit.
What
And
the
it's
hell?
also I like
and
the name.
their friends turn up. Mac has the decency to change into a nice dress, and Ham, whatever you want to call
Just
him.
wears his uniform.
Just wears his uniform. Come on, all he seems to own is Hawaiian shirts or like the full Navy uniform.
I think the uniform is actually his skin.
Okay.
Like if you take off the Hawaiian shirts, there's just the uniform underneath. And
Is he
that's
like-
it. You can't take
when
it
you
off.
say that, like a never nude, like Tobias Funke.
Sort
No,
of.
I mean like that's
It's
physically his
fused to
skin.
his skin.
He
You're
was
born to be Jag.
He was born to be a
And
Jag.
he just tears them off, like it's like they're like paper. You just like tear off these outfits, and there's just one underneath.
Yeah,
Let him
absolutely.
explain all the outfit changes in episode 1, which he has many.
There are a couple of costume changes in the last episode, but he doesn't even have that. So this is their farewell party, I guess. They gather their friends, of which there are about 3.
And they're only colleagues.
Yeah, they're only colleagues. No friends outside of
yeah.
work. They're too
the
busy
Jags.
being Jags.
It's the Jag,
How-
the career Jags.
How are they going to have friends outside of
Well,
work?
not when you have 10
you ever
seasons
tried
to
being a
get there.
Jag?
No, exactly.
Exactly. It's fucking hard.
It's
It's hard out there for a Jag.
The main
harder
thing
for
is
Jag.
Mac has the decency to put on a nice dress. You know, she's looking good. Harm just rocks up in the fucking military attire.
he's got a bow tie in his defense.
What does he order? What's his drink? Draft beer.
He orders a draft
And
beer.
then Bud comes along
So
with his wife.
who has-
Their boss is there, and then is that it?
Yeah, and his rival Sturgis, who has no lines in that last
And
episode, and he's in the main cast as well.
They end the whole show. The whole show. This is what 10 seasons of Jag. This is the apex, not the apex. This is
This is
what,
the ultimate point of Jag.
yeah. Is a CGI coin flip. Let it be known to decide which one of them is going to quit their job
To go live
and
with
join
the
the other one. And it freezes in midair.
As they're looking up at the coin
So
to
you
see
never
what's
see
going to
you
happen.
never see the outcome. That's how they end it. But on the coin is Jag, 1995 to 2005.
What a run.
Yeah,
In memoriam.
and that's how they end it. That's how 10 years of television.
It's
ends.
one of the worst final episodes I've ever seen. Nothing happens.
It's quite horrendous. One thing it had massively
Bud's
changed.
married. Bud's married. We also
Bud's
find out he
married.
has 4 children in the space of 10 years.
I as I've said, I do
worked
not
hard.
believe that Bud's children have any respect for him.
They don't
at
like
all.
him.
I think that his 13-year-old son beats him on a regular basis.
Yep.
Hum and Bud are the only 2 characters that are in that final episode. Actually, that's the big thing. In the first episode, you really only have Harmon and Pike are the only 2 main
Bud
characters.
doesn't look like he's going to stay around.
Bud
He
looks like a one-off.
yeah.
He's going to be a one-off. I'm surprised they brought him back, but something, I don't know, characters, viewers obviously liked him for whatever
They
reason.
must, the test audiences must have really responded well to Bud.
Yeah, just because he's
Must have had a lot of-
very non-threatening.
A lot of pushovers in the test audience. I'm like, I like this guy. I
Yeah, a
can,
lot of John Heaters or something like that.
yeah.
Can I say that just from this last episode, it had something that I was really hoping that it would have, and that was about 17 flashbacks
So
to
many
different
flashbacks.
points of
Sexual
sexual tension.
I know, and
between
Just
Harm.
Mackenzie and Harm. Sexual
Yeah, so
tension.
if I was to piece together what Jag was about from the first and last episode, you can almost throw away the first episode because it's like a made-for-TV Top Gun.
It is like a made except Tom Cruise is played by David James Elliott and is a half lawyer, half pilot.
Yep.
And Nicole Kidman is played by Catherine Bell.
Well, Catherine Bell doesn't come into later.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't think and Catherine Bell wasn't in. No, and
Anyway.
Nicole Kidman wasn't in Top Gun.
Oh, God. So
Yeah.
my pop culture knowledge has just
It's
taken a swift kick to the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has. That was
Don't make ridiculous comments like that then, and I won't have to correct you.
You're better than that. So it seems at the end of the first episode, you would speculate where Jag would go. You're like, oh, this is going to be like a bit of an action show whereby the episode of the week type thing where they'll go and investigate a crime, like NCIS.
Yeah.
But the background is
If I may quickly just
cool
put,
jets taking
put something
off.
in quickly as
and-
well.
and-
That episode of the week, but the underlying current theme is Rab trying to find his missing father. We find out
Yes.
his father's missing, was shot down and yeah. But anyway,
apparently
continue
when he
what
was
you're saying.
16, he goes to Vietnam to look for him.
Yeah, well, that just didn't happen. No, this
What?
a 16-year-old doesn't
Oh.
do that. It can't. They
Is
don't
that,
do
a
that.
is that a tie-in to the last episode where we've got
Maybe.
this B storyline of this 16-year-old who's snuck into the
Military.
Into the military.
And so maybe
16,
Harm,
he's like a
even
young,
though Harm
he's like a
never
young
once,
Harm Rab.
He never once interacts
wow.
with him
Do you
though.
reckon
No.
a bit of so is that, do you reckon that it is? It's a bit of a
Separate-
throwback like that?
just
a bit
little
of a
subtle
bit of a
reference.
homage to the first episode.
They're
and the
kept
last
very
episode.
separate, those two characters. But you're on something there.
That's not bad, Scotty.
Also, they give him like a full guard of honor when they're throwing him out for sneaking into the military.
Yeah, I
For
really.
some reason, the general really like his story really affected him, and he's like, this kid's got what it takes, but it's too early.
Yeah. Really, when they're really like, no, you're 16, get out. Like, not going to waste your time. But
And when they're giving him a gift, and you're like, okay, it's probably going to be his father's medals.
Yeah.
Because the 16-year-old kid, his dad's dead as well.
it's an honorary.
They give him like a fucking certificate saying you're an honorary Marine.
Great. That doesn't do anything for me. Well, we've talked about the first episode. We've talked about the last episode. Now let's move ahead to our theories. What happened in between 1 and 227? Well, 1 and 2 and 227.
Okay, I've had one since I developed this in the first episode.
Yep.
The last episode did not give me any indication of whether it was true or not. But the skipper on the vessel in the first episode, who's kind of like, he seems like he's kind of above the CAG, but like not really, sort of. Yeah. No, not the admiral, the skipper.
He's above him, but
Captain Skipper Ross.
They see each other as peers.
Yeah, they're kind of equals. But there's a moment where Harmon's talking about his mother who's off somewhere, and the skipper asks like how his mother is. And I don't think that's just friendly banter.
Is he
I
the
reckon
dad?
I reckon the skipper.
Is he the dad?
Yeah. Well, I think there was maybe some speculation. Maybe around season 6.
They revisit that character.
Or maybe season 3, maybe a little
they go
earlier,
back.
where the skipper had an affair with Harm's
In a
mother.
flashback. We do know that they love flashbacks.
Yeah, just
they
before.
love
I wouldn't be
flashbacks.
surprised if there was a whole flashback episode dedicated to your theory.
I would love it. I would watch it.
Do you
I
think
would
that
break
there's
the rule and I would watch it.
Do you think that in the series there's an episode of just pure flashbacks?
Probably.
I hope so. I think
You
we
know how,
watched it,
like-
wasn't it? Wasn't
No,
episode
that was-
227
that was a-
almost
that was a-
pure
that was a
flashbacks?
regular
Clip show,
episode.
like a clip show.
They surely have a clip
They
show. love clip show.
90s TV shows loved a clip show. Maybe we got to see 16-year-old Harm in Vietnam. Like, what was he doing?
Well, we saw 5-year-old Harm in the first episode in a flashback.
Oh,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
I say that also from the first episode? Here's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
because you saw his dad putting him in the
Cockpit?
the cockpit in the pilot seat, then saying, "You can." Oh god, you can fly this thing, like one day you'll fly this thing straight to the moon. I was like, episode 227, if he does not fly this thing to the moon,
This show is just being.
I'm going to be mighty
that's it.
pissed.
So
What's
you
it all
thought-
being for?
You thought it'd be him down at Houston, like they had a jet fucking up,
Opening shot
ready
is-
to launch. He's like, I'm flying. No, it's
He's
like
in the shuttle.
It's just a plane. No.
Oh,
He
no, it's just a plane.
That
Yeah,
plane
sorry.
from the 70s. He's like, my dad said I'll fly to the moon. This is what I'm doing.
Okay. What are the theories?
Fails. That would have been a way better send off.
It would have been great.
Him and
if
Mac
that was
flying
the
to the
start,
moon
if
in
that was
his
the
dad's
start,
plane. Come on.
start of episode 227,
Start
I would
life
have been
together
happy.
on the moon. Come on.
I think that would have been a nice. I mean, they could have
Brilliant.
done that story instead of the
Beautiful.
16-year-old Marine story, which is totally redundant to everything.
Maybe he has like
flying
we don't
to the
know.
moon.
Maybe he has like a shed out the back where he's building his own spaceship. It's like, I'm
Maybe.
coming up there to get your dad.
Yeah, that's going to be
Maybe
the
his
next
dad's on the moon.
NCIS.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Jez, did you have any theories you want to share with us for everything in between?
What it would have been about.
I mean, personally speaking,
It had to be the overarching theme had to be him searching for his father, right?
I think that's the general thing
Has
until Mackenzie
Perhaps-
came involved with the
perhaps
show,
there was
and then
a
it was
few offshoot storylines whereby he maybe had illegitimate children. We know he was a womanizer.
Oh, we know.
Come back into
We
his
know
life
he was a womanizer.
and try to reconnect with him.
The show itself could have purely just been about him going to like military posts and hitting on the female officers. That's you could have made a based on
It
that.
probably was.
That
would be the big takeaway. If we sat down and watched 10 seasons of JAG, it'd be like, that's a show about some guy in the military hitting on women.
Is that not what it says on IMDb?
I don't know. I mean, it could say that.
A
And that's-
show about a military lawyer who just goes from base to base hitting on women. I think that Bud has never actually slept with his wife.
Do you reckon
Harm subs in. He's like,
Harm
Bud, I'll
subs in.
take this one.
I'll take this one.
Yeah,
It's like- it's
he
like-
watches. He sits in. He's got his own chair in the bedroom, and he sits there and watches. And he's grateful for the opportunity.
Well, you can
Harm is such a good user of words that he manages to sell it to Bud. And Bud's like, this is a beautiful relationship that we have, the three of us.
I want to come back to Harm's dad. Do you have any theories? Because they did briefly mention in the last episode
He's still
about
looking for
about like the thing that happened in Okinawa in Japan.
Yeah.
Do we think Harm's dad has made
different-
it somehow from Vietnam to Japan, and he's living there with some illegitimate family?
I would say I don't care to speculate, but this show is literally about speculating, so I will speculate. And no, I don't think that. No,
I think he sort of went
I
out.
think you're wrong. I think Han's dad is working in a sweatshop in North Vietnam and has been for years. How much of the show do you think was during those 10 seasons in between the 224 episodes we never watched?
227. Oh yeah.
The ones we didn't watch. How much do you reckon was
224.
set in the courtroom? How many?
A
Like,
lot. I reckon. So what was it? An hour or
40-minute episodes.
were they all 40-minute episodes?
Yeah.
40,
Okay.
yeah, 43
I reckon
minutes.
you get about 20 minutes in the courtroom, and then maybe 10
Bit
minutes.
of a Law and Order breakdown.
10. So this would be if I was writing an episode, or if I was the showrunner and I'm telling my writers what an episode of JAG needs to look like. I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, so we have a setup, like a pre-credit setup where something happens in the military. It's got to be a crime for them to investigate. And then they go into it. So Mac and Harm rock up, and then something reminds him of his dad. They dwell over that for a bit. There's a bit of will they, won't they, and then they go like 25 minutes of courtroom, and then 5 minutes at the end to tie up the
I
episode.
sincerely hope that's every single
Every
episode.
episode.
Every episode, there's a bit of like, a little bit of Harm's dad,
Yep.
a little bit of will they, won't they. It's a magical
That's what you
mixture.
need with the majority in the courtroom.
It's the recipe that
You could have some
kept
will they, won't
people
they
hanging
in
on
the courtroom.
for 10 seasons.
This is something that I've always thought about NCIS. It's something that's really annoyed me. How are there this many Navy crimes?
That's
Rampant.
Yeah,
It's
and
absurd.
there can't be. I mean, this is the thing. And JAG created NCIS,
Yeah.
and that's,
NCIS
it's a monster. It's just too much of it out there.
It's
I mean,
just like,
I don't need.
the Hydra or whatever. You just cut
Do you
off
reckon
one
that's-
head
do you reckon
and
that's why they
a couple
cut-
more emerge. Just keeps going. There's like fucking NCIS Miami or some shit now.
NCIS with Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And what's that, LA?
LL Cool J. It's like the poor man's The Rock.
He's like the poor man.
This poor man's The Rock.
I love how
He's just like a big caramel bald guy. You get in to beef up your show.
they always just
Poor man's The Rock. Come on,
All
back
right.
it. It's good theory.
Said here first.
It's not a bad. I don't know whether that's true because he was never a pro wrestler. I'd say he's like a poor man's
But he
most
did have
deaf or common.
No. He did have a separate career prior to. It doesn't matter what the career was, as long as he had a career before. Like he was famous before he became an actor.
Okay, so you can't speculate what his background is what you're
No,
saying.
you can because he was a rapper. Like it's
No,
pretty easy.
I'm talking about like his ethnicity, like what he is.
No.
What he
What
is.
he's I'm not,
What he is, yes.
I'm not caught up. Maybe in like 1995, we would have done a whole episode on his ethnicity and how weird it was. But
Jess, do you want to start a separate podcast just about the ethnicity of
speculating
different
on
actors?
actors.
but I'm saying he had a
backgrounds.
leg up into acting that wasn't acting.
Oh, okay,
Makes
I see what
sense.
you mean.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah, I
That's
see what
why
you
he's
mean.
similar
He was
to The
already
Rock.
famous for something else.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move ahead now.
Why are we talking about LL Cool J?
How do we get to LL
I
Cool
don't know how we
J?
can talk. We don't have to get to most things. Oh, yeah, and this is the most exciting part of what we're going to do for these podcasts, and that is the reboot. So the reboot essentially is what we do is we choose a genre and we choose a cast and we reboot the show we've watched in some form. So, Jez, what have you got for us? If you would, okay, we're going to reboot JAG. What are you going to reboot as a series, a movie, and who are you recasting?
I'm going 10-episode miniseries.
10-episode miniseries.
In the style of Band of Brothers. I'm putting them in the action.
The number one
In the
rated show on
action.
IMDb of all time.
Yeah. Well, why not? It's a winning formula.
All right, Jez, let's
Why not emulate that?
hear it. I want to say we're doing a 10-part miniseries reboot, style of Band of Brothers. So I'm taking it's going to be pretty gritty.
Yep.
All right.
World War III breaks out. Navy crimes galore.
Juicy.
Navy crimes,
just
galore.
take your pick. Like that's a rich tapestry
That is,
from which I don't know.
a rich tapestry is very accurate. Now, Jez, come on, let's get into it. Give me who's playing Harm. Let's just,
Harm.
Yep.
Harm is played by Ham.
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Ham.
I
is Harm.
I actually thought about John
Ham
Hamm
is
a
Harm.
lot because he
Ham
looks
is
like
Harm.
Ham.
Harm is Ham.
And Ham's got range.
Ham's got range.
Ham's got range. Mad Men. And then he's in like in every SNL episode of the last 5 years. Just
So for the
hangs out
lighter
there.
moments, he can hit on women like
Oh,
no one
Ham
else.
can hit on a woman. If you were to just focus on Ham hitting on women in Mad Men, you'd probably have about the rest of it's probably about 3 or 4 minutes of content for the rest of the episodes.
You don't even need to tell him the role. It's just go on camera and be
Just
yourself.
just speak John Hamm and just see what happens. Give us more.
Bud, I've got now. I'm going off the London vibe that we got from the last episode.
Nice.
English actor, Martin Freeman.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Is it a step down from The Hobbit? Who knows? Jag was pretty big. 17.
Based on his-
17.
He would
Based on
be
him-
biting at the bit to get to the JAG remake.
He would be. Who wouldn't be really?
He's like, his agent comes in. He's like, Martin, we've got something for you. Jag. It's like, mate, you kidding me? You telling me they're rebooting what was once the 17th most watched show?
I'll turn down Sherlock in
the
a
crown
heartbeat.
jewel of
I don't give a shit about
the
Sherlock. I
crown
don't
jewel
give a shit
of
about-
naval television.
Anyway, so yeah, Martin Freeman. I think he'd play a good Bud.
I think he'd be good. No, I don't mind that.
I think he could do it. He could do it.
If you guys have seen Fargo.
Seen Fargo? Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
That's an inspired choice there.
Yep.
What else you got
Before
for
I
us?
go, sort of, got me into it. Mac is played by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Interesting. I like that for a gritty drama. Bryce Dallas Howard, I like it.
Yeah.
Not who I've gone, but mine's very different to yours.
Okay.
Yeah, and who else we got?
So Lobo's back in it. She's like one of the grunts in the
Lobo.
military. Yep.
Lobo from the first episode.
Yeah,
the Butch pilot.
The Butch pilot, yeah, Butch female
pilot.
pilot that is in the
Very
fight
sure
with
of
Becky
herself.
Blade.
Yeah. She gets, I think in my miniseries, she gets
She's
a
killed.
lot of the B stories revolving around Lobo.
Okay. Who do we have?
Can I speculate on Lobo?
Yes.
I'm going to speculate Michelle Rodriguez because you get a tough woman. You get
She
Michelle
ticks some
Rodriguez.
boxes, but not all of them.
Okay.
Also,
she hasn't
I
got
am
mullet.
lacking a bit of ethnic diversity, considering
Okay.
this is a 2016 reboot.
I've noticed.
Which is a worry. So my casting... It's
pretty whitewashed.
Very whitewashed. Not Michelle Rodriguez, though.
Okay, what have you got?
She is a tough girl, but she hasn't got physical presence that I'm after.
Fair enough.
Brienne of Tarth.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Gwendolyn Christie.
I like that.
She can do it.
Good stuff. And that's all you're going with?
I also
That's
have
our main call cast?
the CAG.
The CAG.
CAG.
Recasting the CAG. I
The
like.
CAG is running the show, so the CAG is a step up now. We've got rid of the skipper from the first
So,
episode.
Get him away.
CAG's
So it's
top
all
dog.
based on this aircraft carrier?
CAG's top dog, yeah. Aircraft carrier World War III.
I like it already.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
Sigourney Weaver is CAG.
Oh,
yes.
I like the
And
turnaround.
we've flipped it. She's not happy with how men think they can run the show. So she's immediately skeptical of Ham.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
So she should be.
Or Harm, whatever. Ham's
Ham,
Harm.
harm.
Harm is Ham.
Ham wrap.
Yep. So that's
Bit of
like there's
ham
some
wrap.
good dynamics there.
That's Jeremy. That casting is on point for what is a gritty drama.
That is
I
fantastic.
mean, we've seen Weaver play similar roles.
Weaver's fantastic.
She could do it.
I'm
She's
all,
got it
I'm
in the
all
bank.
about the Weaver as
She knows.
CAG.
I think she knows the military jargon as well. We don't have to teach her that.
Terry O'Quinn would be fine with that recasting. Mm-hmm. Now, Scott, I'd like to hear your what are we doing for JAG, the reboot for you?
Okay, so I have recast JAG as a 90s sitcom, situational comedy.
I like it.
Set in the Navy.
I think set in the 90s. Oh, in the Navy.
In the Navy.
Oh, yeah. It's still in the Navy.
Aircraft carriers or...
Yeah. But it's more like...
That was the best part of the first episode, right? Riding off the success of Top Gun. Just chuck planes.
Oh, it was so exciting. But this is more like your stage setup, multicam kind of thing.
Yeah. Canned laughter?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's the 90s. It's the 90s. There's canned laughter.
So, Harm, I've got John Krasinski.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Can you see it?
John
A lot of
Krasinski.
knowing glances at the camera.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And he knows what it's like.
Now that I know that, I'm really disappointed with my choice. Great. Anyway, continue.
He knows what it's like to be in a relationship that's a will they, won't they. He's very familiar with the role.
I'm just going to step in quickly here, Scott.
Please.
Very interesting. I went with Freeman. You went with Kaminsky?
Krasinski.
Kransky.
Krasinski. Oh, The Office.
Have ever played the same character in different versions of The Office?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
That's
Fun fact. Anyway, continue.
I hope my list continues like this and we've got
yeah.
counterparts
It'd be
for
great if
everyone.
there's parallels.
So, Bud, I've got Joe Latruglio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's so good.
Which one's he?
He's Charles from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Or he's in
See the high-pitched voice guy
Yeah.
from...
Yeah, just a short guy.
Show you what you got.
Real
Show you what you got. Here
real
we go,
dirtbag.
Galaxy.
Real just little... He's a real
Great.
wiener.
That is so perfect.
He's King Comedy Wiener.
He's King Comedy Wiener. You nailed it.
He's
damn
nailing it in
That's
2016.
That's good.
The CAG, straight up, I thought we could get a little bit more comical with it. This actor is deceased, but I thought, man, he would just nail it. Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle, actually.
Peter Boyle from Everybody Loves Raymond.
That's not bad.
Played Frank, the father in
yeah.
Everybody Loves
Yeah.
Raymond.
I like Peter Boyle.
Could you get him in?
Dude, if he was alive in the 90s...
It'd be great.
And
What was he thinking?
He would have been alive in the 90s.
He would have been alive.
that's
He
true.
was.
If
We know for a fact that he was alive in the 90s.
We are very aware of that. Yeah.
We were rebooting it before Jag started.
Exactly.
So this is like alternate timeline stuff.
Yeah.
timeline, okay.
Oh yeah, you get free reign, absolute
Yep,
free
yeah,
reign. I don't have anybody for Mac. I just couldn't. I was thinking for a little bit Patricia Heaton, but I didn't want to double up on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Fair enough.
Oh, as in
Deborah.
So you didn't
old.
cast a
she's
Mac.
too old. No, I don't have a Mac. I was going to throw it out to you guys. Who would you have? 90s Julia Louise Dreyfus.
Julia.
Well, it can be. This is a fantasy world. It can be someone who's in their prime now.
Oh yeah, totally.
I like Julia Louis Dreyfus. Is probably is a good.
She was
choice.
pretty bogged down in the 90s though.
Yeah, she's pretty busy.
Had a lot on her plate. I think that Kirsten Wiig.
Oh, yeah.
Kirsten Wiig. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get a bit of
No, I producer Aaron.
Saying no.
I'm not on board.
He's shaking his head. Yeah. I'm not huge. I'm huge on that either.
Bit of Liz Lemon action, maybe.
She's a bit neurotic for.
But it's a comedy.
It's true. It could work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need someone that can come off as like a hard-nosed professional, but with a
let's come back to that.
All right, Morgan, what do we got?
Okay,
what genre are you delving into?
Now, I had some real trouble trying to land on what genre I was going to go with. And it was based on, I actually decided after the first episode, watching the first episode, I'm like, okay, I'm going to reboot this as a romantic comedy. And then by the time you get to the last episode, as we know...
Too much romance in it.
Yeah, the whole thing is romance. It's a military show, but it's more romance.
It was a romantic, not comedy.
But with that said, I kind of kept... I was like, maybe I'll do a drama. But no, I've decided I'm sticking with the romantic comedy. One-off, just a film, 90-minute rom-com. And
good.
Yeah, and it's
the best format for a rom-com.
And it's more about the last episode.
You're not going to go Dharma and Greg or Two Guys a Girl.
No, nothing like that. So forget about the first episode. Mine's all about the last episode with the sexual tension with Mac and Harm and a little later, won't they? Still with Harm being a womanizer. So for my Harm, I've gone Tom Hiddleston.
Oh shit!
Tom Hiddleston action. I think that's
wow. That is way out of left field.
Is just giving the on-point signal.
Don't tell me Taylor Swift.
No. So my Mac.
Oh man, I didn't even think about musicians breaking into Hollywood.
LL Cool J-ing it, or Ice-T.
LL Cool J-ing it.
I love that that's a verb. You've turned LL Cool J into a verb.
My
Taylor
Mac,
could be an iced tea.
Oh man,
she's already got the tea.
He iced-tea'd it up for himself. Yeah.
My Mac will be played by Olivia Munn.
Oh shit!
This is a rom-com?
Yeah, yep.
Munn?
I'm seeing it.
Jeremy, give me a blank look.
Yeah, I am.
You don't know Olivia Munn?
I do, but give me what's she in?
I
know the name.
What's she in?
Like,
she's in Newsroom.
Yeah, Olivia Munn. Yeah,
No,
Newsroom.
Look her up. Olivia Munn. Okay, I'm a little disappointed that Jess. Okay, let's move on to my bud because I'm particularly proud of my bud.
Okay, this is that's pretty much
the bud is the make or break.
Yeah, it
for
is.
this. The bud is the make or break.
The apex point.
It is, and my bud is Mr. Jason Biggs.
Oh wow, Biggs.
Mr. Jason Biggs will play Bud Roberts.
It's great.
The romantic comedy reboot of JAG.
Jason Biggs.
Biggs would be annoyed if he didn't get the harm roll. I reckon that's how it would have gone down.
Biggs would be filthy.
He would have gone for the harm roll,
and then he's way too pathetic.
and he would have read for the harm roll, and then you just don't command respect at all.
And you like see it in the show as well. You can see it in his acting that he's just pissed.
Biggs is the sort of guy looking at him. He probably was a big fan of JAG. Like he probably watched a lot of JAG growing up.
Most of his inspiration came from JAG.
I don't know that I've seen much that Olivia Munn was in.
She's in stuff. Yeah, she's pretty well. She was a host of like a show on like MTV for ages.
She was in the recast of JAG.
Okay. She's in the reboot of JAG. Perhaps you aren't aware of it. Anyway, moving on. My Harriet, which is of course Bud's wife. Because this is a rom-com.
Interesting that you found her important enough. I mean, she probably had a pretty big role in the other 225 episodes we didn't see. But.
Well, again, mine's focusing more on the last episode. Really, we had a very small like sample size to work from. So
we did.
And the thing is, I wanted someone because Bud is such a wiener. He's such a wiener.
I think you should have Bud's brother in it, and I think it should be Sean William Scott.
Add that to the cast list.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Harriet is going to be played by Sarah Silverman because just based on everything I've seen her in, she just dominates. Like in I'm thinking School of Rock, which dominates Mike's the Jack Black's friend, and then
Schneebly.
Hi, this is Ned Schneebly, and the Admiral or the boss, because it's like there's clearly multiple bosses. So
did you do clarinet playing Admiral in the first episode?
Did you do CAG?
No, I didn't do CAG.
Oh, this is the last episode.
Yeah, so this is the last episode. So instead of the CAG, I went with the Admiral.
Kenny G's not. He was only in the first episode.
Yeah, well, I liked him so much because of his the way he interacted with the television, laughing at every Jay Leno joke that came up, even though they weren't funny. So instead of casting Kevin Dunn as that character, I've gone with Jason Alexander to play the Admiral.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
What? I've forgotten. What genre is this?
It's a romantic comedy.
Romantic comedy.
I don't know that.
It's a big gap between what
Alexander would his talents would be better suited to the sitcom reboot, I think, over the rom-com.
I think you're underestimating Alexander. They always said Alexander was the best actor from Seinfeld. I was going to say JAG.
I'm trying to remember anything that Jason Alexander is in except for Seinfeld.
Shallow Hal. Romantic comedy. He's in Shallow Hal.
He's in Shallow Hal.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's like Jack Black's mate, who's even more shallow than Hal. He's shallower than Hal.
So that could
have been a sequel, by the way.
Shallower than Hal.
Shallower Hal. But anyway, that's my reboot, and it's a romantic comedy. There's a big gap from Jason Alexander to Tom Hiddleston. He's probably a bit lean. Harm's a pretty big dude, but I think Hiddleston. I like Hiddleston.
It's rock solid. You can't go wrong with Hiddleston.
I could if I didn't have Hiddleston. In hindsight, I wouldn't have minded Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
But something about Hiddleston is just better for Harm. I don't know why. Look, Jez, can we let's just run back through. So what we had for you. So you had Ham.
Band of Jags.
Band of Jags.
Jag of Brothers.
I like Jag of Brothers. I think that's
Jag of Brothers. If we can come up with titles as well, that'd be great. Actually, that's what
done. Jag of Brothers.
Jag of Brothers.
Jag of Brothers is great.
I want you guys to give me some suggestions for my Bud and my Mac. I reckon that could be better because I like Ham. I like Brianna Tarth as Lobo, and I like Sigourney Weaver as a CAG, but I think my Bud and my Mac could be better.
Who was Bud again?
Bud was Martin
Freeman.
No, Bud's staying as Martin Freeman.
Yeah?
The only change I would see is, I liked Bryce Dallas Howard, but I just feel like she's just not, I just don't think she's got that same sort of, you want someone with really good like chemistry with Ham, and I just don't think her and Ham would have good chemistry.
I've got a Bud for you.
Yeah.
Paul Dano.
Yeah, good.
Paul Dano is a very good Bud.
He's got a bit of a silly
wiener.
face.
Total wiener.
He is.
Radcliffe would be a good Bud.
They're in a war. So this is going to be, it's more serious. You don't need, you can be light on the comedy side.
He still needs to be the most wienerish character in this war.
Massive wiener. Like the wiener fact that
it's the core underpinning of the character.
Can we just take a second? Just go, how is this guy a character in the Navy? Why do they make him such a wiener? I don't understand.
How did he get through boot camp?
I don't guess.
That would have been hell for Bud. He would have got
just pity.
Man, he would have ragged so much.
He would have passed around. God, how Bud must be so broken on the inside. He must like at night time he must just go outside and just I don't know. There must be some sort of weird. Unless you go to Fight Club or something like that. Some weird outlet just for this man to survive.
He kills homeless people.
He probably does.
Yeah. Very dark.
Anyway, look, I think we're getting off.
Maybe we should have recast this as Bud being the lead, going to.
Well, let's right now.
That should have been the spin-offs. NCIS shouldn't have been the spin-off. It should have been Bud. So Harm and Mac head off to San Diego and London, respectively.
You're calling San Diego. That's where the coin landed on San Diego.
The coin, it does one of those things that lands
on edge.
Yeah, and they're like, well, I guess we're meant to be together.
Well, time for a suicide pact. Here we go.
And then Bud is then the main character of the spin-off. Not NCIS. It's called, I don't know.
Bud New York.
And it's just about him.
Bud at large?
It's basically American Psycho, but he's softer. He's a softer character, but he's got that, that's his outlet. He goes around killing people. It's like Dexter.
I'm trying to think of a name for my 90s sitcom.
So am I.
That's not just Everybody Loves Ham.
Everybody Loves Ham.
JAG, yours should still be called, the sitcom should be still called JAG, Scott, but you just got to change the acronym.
Oh, right, okay.
So have a funny acronym. Like FBI, federal booby inspector.
Maybe
thing.
Let's just... okay, it's set, they're all about 90 years old, and it's geriatrics...
Geriatrics and generals?
Geriatric generals. There you go. They're all 90 years old. They're all working in the Navy. They're all incredibly sexist.
Yeah.
Geriatric generals.
The guy that you cast as CAG works well.
Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle.
He's perfect.
Bring him in.
Look, let's wind things down now. Okay, so I think that the big question is for me, and I know we're all thinking it, even though I haven't said it just yet, but I'm going to mention it now, is well, how did this show go for 10 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
It just seemed to just never get above mediocre.
Yeah, it just kind of hung in there.
It peaked when it was mediocre.
Yeah.
And it was average.
And it's just the worst show.
Multiple spin-offs were born from JAG.
It's insane.
Someone liked the formula enough to continue it on as NCIS.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I can only assume that at least 75% of the show was just between Harm and Mac. From the flashbacks.
I think that's why it would have handed to the 40 plus female audience.
They would have gone straight from Days of Our Lives to JAG.
Yeah, they would have liked that.
They're very close.
That would have been what kept people coming back.
Which,
the romantic tension.
I think in the middle of the series, I think that they realized that that's who their audience was, and that they were just sticking on the love story.
Yeah.
Because the first episode is, at the time, I thought it's not that great. But in comparison to episode 227, It is superb. Like, it's
Brilliant.
got a great storyline, bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
Like some twists in there. And episode 227 is just this formulaic, like, just throw it out, spit it out. Like, oh.
Like the
the
B
worst.
storyline's
The B
terrible.
storyline. There was no
so
B
pointless.
storyline in episode 1, in the first episode. Like, everything affected everything else.
Yeah.
There was too much because there was too much cast in episode 227.
So,
there's like I think there's so much cast that guy Sturgis, who's clearly his rival, just didn't get. He got like 2 lines. But we.
Yeah, and at the end he gives him his wings. But you're like, wait, who was this guy again?
Yeah.
He's the guy that gives out wings,
Yeah.
obviously.
Well, look. Anyway, look.
Okay.
This has been fun. I've enjoyed this.
It's been good.
Look, I think we can safely say watch the whole thing, bury this, or just watch the first and last. Personally, I would. I'm not disappointed
So
we did this.
we're giving ratings.
Would you watch the rest of the series from what you saw from the beginning and from the end?
Okay. Well,
I would rather stick needles in my eyes.
That's next week on the podcast. Jazz sticks needles in his eyes.
Fantastic.
But I will say that, like you said before, I was a little bit intrigued after the first
episode,
couple,
yeah.
but the last one just killed it for me.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking what we got from point A to point C because wow,
To point
that last
C.
episode is insane. Which is why I decided I had to reboot that because I thought the first episode was pretty solid for what it is. No, it was terrible. But look, I've enjoyed this chat about JAG. I did not enjoy watching this show.
Let's do it again.
I don't think anyone would. And hey,
Guys, you can hit us up on our Instagram. Morgan, what's the handle?
it is the Incomplete Series, all one word. Please follow us.
Facebook pending. Would love suggestions for future episodes.
Next week we haven't landed on our show next week, but
I'm thinking, here's my suggestion for
ahead.
next week. Feel free to throw it out. And I've seen this show, and I'm pretty sure you two haven't seen this show. So we're maybe not going to be completely just going into the ether and not
Yeah,
knowing
I like
anything about it, because we're never going to find out what happened with JAG. There's
No,
no
it-
doubt.
no,
It's hard
it's
to
a-
find a
it's a
show
mystery.
that went for as long as JAG
that somebody's actually
as
watched.
unwatchable as JAG.
Yeah.
that's the thing. What
That's
about
true.
what about our producer Aaron? Aaron, what do you want us to watch next week? What do you reckon?
Alias?
You reckon Alias?
That was my suggestion.
Alias.
I've seen all of
I'll
Alias.
do Alias.
I-
What
do
have we got?
Alias.
Because JAG was hard. 10 seasons was hard.
Okay,
JAG
Alias,
is
I think.
so hard.
Alias, from memory, I think is 5 or 6 seasons.
Is this Jessica Alba's
No,
launching
that's
pad?
Dark Angel, which I would
okay.
also. I've seen all of that though. That's actually.
Alias is Jennifer Garner, who I will
Jennifer
admit is
Garner.
not the greatest actress in the world. But
She's best described as an actress.
how do you feel about it? Alias, do you know anything about it?
Not a lot.
Well, I think it sounds
I think,
like it
isn't
sounds
she like
we're-
a super soldier or is that Dark Angel?
No, it's Dark
No,
Angel.
that's Dark Angel.
All right, I don't know nothing about it.
Nothing about Alias.
I know a little bit about Alias. She's like in the CIA or something like that.
She must have an alias, so
That's
I'm guessing
questionable.
she's some sort of spy.
Oh,
so what do we- what-
Jez, leave the speculation to the episode
I'll
next
wait.
week, please.
Save it for the podcast.
excited.
Jess.
The cast.
I'll save it for the podcast.
Cool. All right. Well, look. It sounds like we're doing Alias. Hey, join us for our next episode. All right.
you later.
Goodbye, Jerome.
Next week. Goodbye, Moggs. It's been great.
It's been a pleasure. And Scott, goodbye.
I'll see you later, Morgan.
And goodbye, Aaron. Thanks again
Thanks
for
to our
all your help.
producer, Aaron.
Goodbye, fellas.
We'll catch you guys next time.